the coaches very loose going into this game tonight, early on before the game.
Well, this is what you started way back last spring to work toward, Charles, and then you went through spring practice and then summer camp, and then you hope that a lot of good things happen to you, along the way. This has been the story, of the Thomasville High School Bulldogs. The papers have called them the Cinderella team. They had lost a lot of people last year going into camp, just weren't real sure, how good they were going to be. Early on, they caught fire, and sometimes when you have a young team, they catch a lot of enthusiasm, and it just began to continue for them. Stevens County, by the same token, had a lot of people returning. Many people had predicted that they would do well this year, and that they have, and it's altogether fitting and proper that after both of these teams' hard work through spring practice and summer camp and now 15th game of the season, this is what you work for.
We want to also mention that the Thomasville fans who are at the game tonight and those of you who are watching,
just during football season. This has really been a rallying point, for this community. Just tremendous enthusiasm, on the response of the merchants, and the people, the population of Stevens County. It's always been a great athletic town, but certainly, this has given them something to identify with, and, much success this year. And a lot of people have enjoyed calling them, their Indians.
The traditions of both these teams go way back. Both schools are very much steeped in tradition, have been in existence for quite a while. The Stevens County Indians won a state championship game in 1958. Thomasville won state championship games in 1973 and 74. And of course, the star of their team that year, who went on to stardom not only in college but in the NFL, was William Andrews. The Stevens County Indians are the fans are doing their normal thing before the games. They're lining up now on the field to form the victory alley for the players to run through. And Thomasville team is getting ready to depart their locker room about the same time. Let's look right now at the starting lineups for our teams. Tonight's game is being hosted by the Stevens County Indians. We'll look at the Stevens County lineup first.
Football fans from Stevens County and football fans.
In the Indians' backfield, starting out is quarterback number 12, Kelly Steele. He's a 195-pound senior. At running back, number 34, playing the left half, is Eldorado Cochran, a 200-pound senior. At the other running back, number 22, Randall Sherman, a 188-pound senior. The fullback is number 33, Mike Robertson. He's a 168-pound senior. The split end is number 26, Kevin Collins, a 156-pound senior. On the line for the Indians, at right tackle, number 67, Nick Steeples, a 237-pound senior. The right guard is Shane Kelly, number 61, a 215-pound senior. The center is Steve Savage, number 60. He's a 192-pound senior. At left guard, number 72, Henry Powell, a 200-pound junior. At left tackle is Mark Brown, number 57, a 188-pound junior. And the tight end for the Indians, number 21, Clay Ware, a 234-pound senior.
Okay, Charles, for the Indians defensive secondary, at cornerback, number 26, Kevin Collins, 156-pound senior. At the other corner, number 3, Eric Allen, 155-pound senior. At safety, number 6, Marcus Dickson, 165-pound junior. He'll go both ways tonight, also seeing action at halfback. And at the other safety, number 22, Randall Rambling Sherman. He's a 188-pound senior. At the linebacker, number 58, Forey Tate, big playmaker, 172-pound junior. And at the other backer, number 44, a steady player, Brian Rogers, 215-pound junior. At defensive tackle, number 32, big senior, 235-pound Joel Scott. At nose guard, number 77, Darrell Banks, 185-pound junior. At defensive tackle, weighing 230 pounds, a sophomore, number 36, Big James Singleton. At defensive end, number 89, big playmaker, Mark Bowen, 186-pound junior. And at the other defensive end, number 11, excellent athlete, Bontel Johnson, 195-pound senior.
For the Thomasville Bulldogs, In their backfield, their quarterback, number 8, Charles Bostic, is a 170-pound junior. At running back, number 7, Mike Jones, a 200-pound senior. He's number 7. At the other running back, Sean Austin, number 18, 170-pound senior. The fullback is James Williams, number 33, 180-pound senior. At wide receiver, Anthony Hayes, number 15, is a 165-pound senior. At the right tackle, number 65, Rennie Thompson, 172-pound senior. The right guard, number 68, Brian Stone, 180-pound senior. At center, it's Morris Carter, number 59, 168-pound sophomore. The left guard is Bill Dormany, number 52, a 205-pound senior. Number 63 is at left tackle. He's Greg Fortson, 172-pound junior. And the tight end is number 82, Terrence Hadley, a 200-pound sophomore.
Charles, this Thomasville defense has been one of the main reasons that they have been so successful this year. Many of the coaches that have played against them and many of the coaches that have seen them play say that this is just a tremendously quick football team. Had the occasion and pleasure to talk to Coach Charlie Green, who's played these people many, many times. He said the Thomasville Bulldogs are the quickest football team he has ever seen in his 23 years of high school football coaching. He said that included the years he was in Valdosta and the first 2 years that he was in Thomasville when he actually played Valdosta when he was in Quad A. So a tremendously quick team, and I think you and also would testify after watching and studying them on film this week, they're just that. Let's take a look at them. At cornerback, number 15, Anthony Hayes. He's a 160-pound senior. At the other cornerback, number 2, Jerome Williams, a 175-pound junior. At safety, number 7, Mr. Versatile. You'll see him at safety. You'll see him at running back. He does everything but drive the bus. Big time, big playmaker, Mike Jones, 200-pound senior. At outside linebacker, number 45, Mark Futch, a 170-pound senior. At the other outside linebacker, number 13, Trell Austin, a 180-pound sophomore. At defensive end, number 26, Alan Williams, a 175-pound sophomore. At defensive tackle, Big Chad Brown, one of the bigger men on the team, 208-pound senior. At defensive tackle, number 76, Lance Palmer, a 195-pound senior. At defensive end, number 78, Alex Mash, 200-pound junior. At inside linebacker, number 44, Leonard Christian, 180-pound junior. And at the other inside backer, number 48, Stacy Ross. He is a 195-pound senior.
This game has been planned all year, you might say, because Stevens County and Thomasville have been ranked 1 and 2 in just about every poll throughout the year. The AP poll at this point has Thomasville ranked number 1 in the state. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll has Stevens County ranked number 1. So it's going to be the game of the 2 unbeatens in Class AAA. It's also the game of 1 and 2 as they have been ranked throughout at least the last half of this year. Both teams have been ranked number 1 at least at some point during the year. Also, it was last week's game where Thomasville beat Thompson, and as the sports writers that we have heard from in Thomasville put it, it was the greatest exhibition of football in South Georgia. And we can attest to the fact that last week it was the greatest miracle night in football in Dalton as the Stevens County Indians topped the Dalton Catamounts 22-21 in a cold, cold field up at Dalton, Georgia last Friday night.
Well, it certainly was, and you know, we talked about rankings, you know, during our regular season, you know, contest when we were televising, Charles, and we said they really don't mean anything until you get to the last game, and then it begins to mean something. Tonight, you can count the rankings, particularly, you know, right after the ball game is over, and boy, you can just tell the enthusiasm that's here, just a fantastic crowd. This, the opening game in 1971 with Habersham Central, the 2 Hart County region playoff games this year, sub-region and region playoff games this year, and this one rivals one of the largest crowds that I've ever seen in Stevens County football history.
As we have been talking during the pregame comments, both sides of the stadium have continued to fill to over capacity. From our vantage point here, it looks like that the Thomasville side of the field has probably 4,000 to 4,500 2,500 fans at this point, and the Stevens County side. Coach, what would you say? You're more an expert on this side of the field than I am as far as the amount of people.
All I know is a heap of folks.
There's a bunch of them, and they're enjoying themselves tonight. Both teams, as they prepare to come onto the field, the Thomasville Bulldogs are now ready to break through their banner as they go across to the other side of the field. The Stevens County Indians will be coming out momentarily. We'll be back with the kickoff of tonight's game and other comments in just a few moments. You're watching the state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Tonight's championship game ready to get underway, or going to be in just a few moments, as the captains for both teams, along with the rosters or the starting lineups of both teams, out on the field right now as they announce the winning coin toss. Stevens County has won that toss. They're going to be deferring the kickoff until the second half, so Thomasville will be receiving in this first half. The Stevens County Indians clad in the red jerseys and silver pants. Thomasville in the white jerseys with gold pants.
We're going to see a lot of similarities in these teams, Charles. Both teams run primarily from the wishbone offense. Stevens County kind of a power wishbone, whereas Thomasville Bulldogs under Coach Mike Hodges, they are kind of a finesse wishbone. Tremendous athletes, great quickness. Both of them will show about the same type of look on defense. One of the greatest assets of the Thomasville Bulldog defense is their tremendous quickness that they have and their ability, to get to the football. You mentioned the tremendous crowd they have. I think it's just a tremendous testimony about the Thomasville people to travel 6 hours and bring 3,500, 4,000 people, up here to the stadium tonight. Just tremendous testimony. So it's certainly a fantastic testimony for Stevens County, to have some 8, 9, 10,000 people here also. But so it certainly sees that both of these communities take a lot of pride and support, their football programs.
Those of you who may be watching both of these teams for the first time on TV might look at the weights that we mentioned during this. Thomasville, a relatively small team as far as weight is concerned for a football team, certainly for a championship football team, but they make up for it in finesse and quickness. We were able to review a tape of them playing the Worth County game yesterday, and it really surprised us at how quick and how fast the Thomasville team is. Stevens County has good weight as far as football is concerned. They have a lot of power. So as you mentioned, Coach, it's going to be power wishbone versus finesse wishbone in a lot of cases.
Right. I had occasion to have breakfast with Coach George Bobo at coaching clinic back in July, and he told me then, he said, Max, I don't know how good we're going to be. We lost a lot of people, but our region is so tough. He said, we don't know how good the people in our region are going to be. And it's certainly a very, very strong region down there, in 1 AAA. But obviously, Coach Mike Hodges and his staff have done an excellent job, as have Coach Rodney Walker and his staff, to get into the state championship games. And Charles, there's 84 AAA teams in the state, and this down to 2. And what an exciting opportunity for these young men just to play and just to witness and have an opportunity to view this game.
Kelly Steele puts this game into motion. It's taken back at the 4-yard line. And he's brought down at the 16. Number 8 on the carry, Charles Bostic, the quarterback, taking the ball up to about the 16.
Looked like Mark Boeing leading the initial charge down there for the Stevens County Indians, slowing him up some and then getting him help from other specialty team members.
The Bulldogs, 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. Charles Bostic will bring him up to the line at quarterback. Backed by that trio in the wishbone of Sean Austin, number 18, James Williams, 33, and Mike Jones, number 7.
Plus 2 split ends.
On the option, Bostic gets about 3 yards.
James Singleton, Mark Bowen, Eldorado Cochran then in on the tackle.
Brings up 2nd down and about 7 for the Bulldogs of Thomasville. Bostic with the handoff. This time the ball advances up to about the 20.
We mentioned Thomasville's wishbone offense. They'll break it a lot in that they'll come out with two splits. They'll come out with a tight end. Sometimes they'll go unbalanced line. And whether they're not trying to trick anyone, it's just a little bit of finesse, trying to utilize the quickness that they have.
We noticed on the tape, according to the Worth County tape, they did not break the wishbone very often. They almost ran out of the wishbone every time. And just as I said that, Thomasville breaks the wishbone with the
true to form on TV 32.
That's right. All right, Bostic's looking on the option. He dives trying to get the first down. He's going to be short by about 5 yards. Bostic getting up to around the 23-yard line.
Great defensive pursuit by Stevens County to stay at home then. Fantastic job. But that young man, let's give him some credit too. He could kept that from being a lost charge. Tremendous athletic ability by then. Great job by the defense of Stevens County then to stay at home, realizing if you over pursue against their great quickness, you know, they could be gone. Fantastic pursuit then by the Stevens County defense.
Timeout has been taken by the Indians. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment with more first quarter action of this state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. It's 4th and 4 now for Thomasville. Stevens County just coming off a timeout. Thomasville going back into punt formation. Jerome Williams back to do the punting for the Bulldogs. Back deep for Stevens County is Kevin Collins.
Beautiful punt.
Taken by Collins at the 40.
Excellent coverage in by Mark Futch, number 45, going down under the specialty teams. And now the Thomasville Bulldogs will get to see that great quick defense, you know, that they have.
Stevens County having good field position as they start this drive from their own 40.
Coach Rodney Walker in his second state championship game. And this is Coach Mike Hodges' 4th state championship game, having won the state championship at Miller County, twice at West Rome, and now playing for it again, you know, here up against Stevens County.
Stevens County offense, Kelly Steele at quarterback, Eldorado Cochran, Mike Robertson, and Randall Sherman. Eldorado Cochran, the ball carrier. By the way, Marcus Dickson in at running back, number 6 for the Indians.
Alan Williams, number 26, a young 170-pound sophomore, showing that just as a sophomore, he's not going to play like a sophomore tonight. At this time of the year, you forget that you're a sophomore. You play like a senior right now, showing a lot of quickness. Loss of yardage in on that play for Eldorado Cochran.
2nd and 11 for the Indians. Stevens County running an unbalanced line. Cochran once again the ball carrier. This time looks like he gets just back to the line of scrimmage.
Thomasville up front people, Lance Palmer, Chad Brown, so quick off the ball, along with Alex Mash, and then the linebackers seem to fill in so quick. Leonard Christian and Stacy Ross. First 2 plays just completely out-quicked them on the offensive line.
We did notice yesterday that Thomasville does swarm as a defense. There are 4 or 5 people around the ball always on defense. Steele is back to pass. He fires out for Cochran. It's tipped and incomplete, so that'll bring up 4th down for the Indians.
Well, first 2 series of plays, we've seen Stevens County be equal to the task on defense, and we've seen the Thomasville Bulldogs be equal to the task. You know, we pointed out, Charles, I believe in the playoff games, or maybe the last 6 games, Thomasville has only given up 19 points total in the last 6 games of the year. So their defense really came on and got to be tremendously strong. Looks like they're loading up right here and maybe going after the punter.
And let's see what the officials are going to sort out now. So offsides against the Indians, so that'll move them back 5 yards. Stevens County now spotted back at the 39.
Clay Ware back to do the punting choice for the Stevens County Indians, as he's performed the job so admirably during his entire career here at Stevens County High School.
Brian Rogers, the snapper. It's a good punt.
Beautiful punt. Hey, hey, big time punt.
Punt taken, fair catch back at the 20.
Woo! Big time punt. Clay Ware, number 21.
So Thomasville will go back on offense. The Bulldogs will take over at the 20.
Well, it was important to the Thomasville Bulldog defense to be able to come out and show why they've been so good, early on here in this, after the offense of Thomasville was somewhat stymied on their first possession, because we're talking here, and this is very, very, very early, in the ball game. Good play up front by Brian Rogers, staying at home.
The gain from Williams goes up about 3 yards, so it'll bring it up to the 23-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
Getting some assistance in there from Jamel Pulliam. They're so quick, you won't be able to over pursue. You really do have to stay at home because of the respect, for the quickness that Thomasville has.
Thomasville splitting Anthony Hayes to the lower part of your screen. The ball goes back. Bostic tries to fall on it. Let's see. All right, Bostic falls on it, so Thomasville retains possession, but it'll be back at the 5-yard line. The ball just scooted out on the option from Bostic, and he wasn't able to hold on to it as it went back all the way to the 5-yard line, and he fell on it there and recovered it.
Looked like he was coming out on the option. Looked like it just popped loose, really. Couldn't really tell, but looked like he was coming out on the option then, and looked like it just popped loose, and just can't really tell with, without the replay and everything, but it appeared that.
That'll bring up 3rd down in long yardage. About 25. Once again, the ball pops loose.
Mark Bowen right there on the spot.
So the Stevens County defense has done an excellent job of not only holding Thomasville, but pushing them back due to 2 fumbles. So Thomasville will have to punt from deep in their end zone. Jerome Williams will be punting from very deep in his end zone.
Well, and talking to, a lot of people, this week and trying to, after finding out we were going to do the telecast, to try to learn as much about this Thomasville team as we could, said that, they just don't have any weaknesses. Excellent, kicking game, excellent punting game, just a really, really fine team.
Very close to blocking it was Mark Bowen. The ball falls dead at the 34-yard line. Excellent. The 35 is where they're going to spot it. Great field position for the Indians. Now let's see if the Indian offense can capitalize on the good field position and the good play of the Indian defense.
But certainly they took it in very, very fine field position here. Actually spotted it on about the 35, I believe, Charles. So the Indian offense will go to work here. Randall Sherman playing primarily on offense tonight. Marcus Dickson having to see double duty. Jabbar Wiley now in at fullback.
Collins split to the bottom of your screen. They break the wishbone, put Marcus Dickson in the slot. The 2 set backs are Jabbar Wiley and Eldorado Cochran. The pitch back goes back to Jabbar Wiley. Wiley has running room.
He may go all the way.
Wiley is gone.
He may
Looks
go
like
all the way.
touchdown for the Indians. Stevens County's Jabbar Wiley going 35 yards for the touchdown. The Indians put the first points on the board tonight. 4:36 left in the first quarter.
Well, they came out and broke the bone then. They moved the running back, Eldorado Cochran, over to the strong side and put him in the slot, put the slot man over here on this side, overloaded one side. He hit the seam almost, if I'm not mistaken, the identical play to what he scored on last week against Dalton that propelled them into this game this week. So excellent play, good read out there by Kelly Steele then. Once he got the corner, got a good block from his wide man and his slot man then, got it in the end zone for 6.
Steele's PAT attempt is good. Stevens County leads 7-0 over the Thomasville Bulldogs. We'll be back with the last part of this first quarter in just a moment on the state championship game on the playoff flagship station TV 32. Stevens County Indians coming out onto the field now as they get ready to kick off once again to Thomasville. Kelly Steele set to kick off for the Indians. You know, Kelly Steele, a multi-talented player. I wonder how he divides his practice time, Coach. He does the PATs, he does the kickoffs, he's the quarterback of the team, and he obviously studies the playbook very well because he checks off at the line more almost than any player I have ever seen or any quarterback I've ever seen.
Right, he certainly does. Just a super athlete and does a good job, and outstanding team leader and, you know, outstanding school leader, community leader also. Both throngs of delegation from Stevens County and that from Thomasville. Thomasville trying to incite their team, and the Stevens County people standing up in support of their good display of offense in.
Steele's kickoff's going out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So they'll bring it back and do that one again.
We were talking about, you know, the tremendous crowd here, and certainly this is one of the best places, you know, in North Georgia to view a football game because of the stadium and the way that it's, you know, certainly laid out. But certainly we would not want to go without remarking about the tremendous job that Coach Cox and them do on the football field. I mean, it is really lined off, you know, and we go to a lot of places, and the sidelines and the marking and everything, just a fantastic job. Makes it so easy to call a game, to pick up the spots where they are on the field, and just tremendous job here by the staff to get this field ready. Oh, he'll be up to attempt it again.
Goes down the center of the field again this time. Picked up by number 18 for the Bulldogs. That's Sean Austin.
Good job then of getting down the field for Stevens County. Brian Fowler making the tackle along with Scott Payne on the specialty teams. The thing that we have noticed just ongoing, and then after studying the film, Charles, you know, the speed that they have. I believe they was telling us that Mike Jones, number 7, you know, runs about a 4.6 40-yard dash, and ladies and gentlemen, that is moving on, maybe even faster than that. So, you know, in a ball game, whenever you have speed and quickness, you're never out of it because of that.
Bostic on the keeper. He was on the option as he pitched out. Mark Futch taking it out of bounds. Fudge getting it up to the 42-yard line for the Bulldogs.
Bostic did an excellent job of reading it then. He made the pitch just at the right time. Then Futch, once he took the football, got a substantial gain, and that got them started then. Good job of pursuit and hustle then by Joel Scott to make the tackle from the offside of the football field to get down on the sideline and get over and give some help. Excellent execution then, you know, by Charles Bostic.
Jerome Williams split to the lower side of your screen. Bostic handing off this time to the fullback Williams. Williams sewed up for about a yard gain.
James Singleton long up front. Forey Tate. Always from the wishbone, you know, you want to establish your fullback, and certainly, you know, that's what they're trying to do. And then once they see that the fullback is cut off, and then they'll come on out and execute, you know, their option as far as that is concerned.
Second down and 8 for the Bulldogs.
Big James Williams rambles on, believes he has about 1,100 yards, runs so determined. He just twists and turns and lunges and plunges in.
Williams gets it all the way up to midfield. That'll bring up third down and 2. Big down for both schools right here. The Stephens County Indians fans urging their defense on to hold them. And, of course, the Bulldogs needing desperately to make this first down to keep this drive going. Bostic bringing his team up to the line. Bostic on the keeper, and
big
the
play by Forey Tate.
The Indians hold him.
Big play by Forey Tate. Came out on the option in, excellent call. You go to the man that can get it done for you, Charles Bostic, but not a bad job by Thomasville, but an excellent job by 58, Forey Tate for Stephens County, knifing through. Looked like they might have had a little blitz on then and got him just by his shoestring, seemingly.
Clock at 2:19 left in the first quarter. Kevin Collins back deep for the Indians. Back to punt, Jerome Williams. Williams gets one away. It's end over end. It's going to be, let's see, is it going out of bounds? It's going to be downed anyway at about the 13-yard line. 13-yard line where Stephens County's offense will put it in play.
Well, those offensive linemen then for Thomasville certainly went to work. Up front, Greg Fortson, Bill Dormany, Marsh Carter, Byron Stone, Rennie Thompson. They went to work then and let them gain a little confidence, you know, from the offensive side of the football. And you don't get something going unless you do an excellent job up front, and their offensive line really went to work then. However, Stephens County's defense was equal to the task, and were able to make them punt the ball back to them.
Stephens County flip-flopping tight ends. Handoff goes to El Dorado. Cochran getting 3 or 4 yards.
And Stephens County then just getting down behind their offensive linemen, Clay Ware, Mark Bowen on that side, Shane Kelly. Just running a power football then, got about 4 yards. A good 4 yards in from the offensive side of the football. Just straight power, nothing fancy, no finesse. Trying to get a little running room after the punt had put them down there, you know, inside the 15-yard line.
Jamar Wiley checking in at fullback for Stephens County. El Dorado Cochran again for a couple of yards. Would like to mention our cold crew who's out here tonight. Sideline cameraman is John Kerr. Our upstairs cameraman is Mark Watson tonight. Our people in the truck tonight, our director is Stuart Gaines, and our graphics and co-director, Kim Gaines.
Stephens County also showing unbalanced line some.
Big 3rd and 4 as the ball goes to Marcus Dickson. Dickson is going to get about a yard. Good shoestring tackle there by
excellent defense.
Thomasville.
They had to stop that play to make Stephens County punt it back to them, and a good job. He almost got to the outside then. Excellent pursuit, you know, by number 2 coming up from his cornerback position then, Anthony Hayes. Pardon me, Jerome Williams on that side.
That's the end of the first quarter. It's 7-0 Stephens County over Thomasville. This is the state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Stephens County has a 4th and 2 situation. I'm Charles Head along with Coach Mac Potts bringing you tonight's state championship AAA classification game. We're proud to be here at Stephens County, Toccoa, Georgia with this game. Clay Ware boots it very high, not very long. It does take a Stevens County bounce, but it's going to give Thomasville good field position at the 46-yard line. So the Bulldogs will be starting out at the 46 of the Indians.
Well, this gives Thomasville their best field position, you know, that they've had all night. And after they had punted the football, their defense did a really good job of making sure that they made Stevens County give up the football without getting out of a hole, so that when they did punt to them, it would have to be, you know, a pretty substantial punt. Stevens County now will go back on defense. Been a fast game so far, Charles, already into the second quarter.
One pass attempted so far, I believe, by the Indians. Bostic looking. Bostic pulled down at the line of scrimmage. He was looking to pass, but his receivers were well covered by the Stevens County defense. Nowhere for them to go to get free.
James Singleton and Brian Rogers then both staying at home. Good job of pursuing. Mark Bowen trailing from the backside. Thomasville then came out and broke the bone, and we have seen the Stevens County bone broken the very, very same way. That sounds a little different, doesn't it, seeing the bone broken again? But seeing the wishbone offense deviate from its normal lineup position.
Whoa, let's get technical. All right, they are deviating from their regular offensive lineup position once again. Bostic looking, he's trying on the keeper. This time he gets about 3 yards. Indian defense swarming very well tonight as they're defending the option much better than they did in the first half of the Dalton game last week as we saw it.
Well, naturally, you know, they have said, you know, that we're a business-like team. You know, we go out there and just get the job done with not really emotion, but I have to say, tonight they've shown some emotion and some business, you know, thus far in the game. Of course, it's a long time to go, and you know, this is two fine football teams. What greater opportunity, what greater privilege is it, you know, than to play for the state championship of Georgia?
Bostic again doing a great job on the keeper of faking the ball back where nobody can see it, hides it very well. It's completed for a first down across the 45 down to the 43-yard line.
Clutch catch then by Williams, you know, for the first down. Got it right past the sticks then, and James Williams, very, very fine football player, 180-pound senior, 1,100 yards total rushing, you know, this year. Showed some pass catching ability then too. Ran a little waggle pass out, you know, to the fullback then and got the needed first down. And the offense now has got another first down for the Thomasville Bulldogs as they're on the march.
This time Bostic once again on the keeper, a little fake back to Williams, and then keeps it and gets about 6 yards.
Tremendous display then of what his quickness was all about. James Singleton, Mark Bowen both were in position to make the tackle, and then he turned that into a 7-yard gain, as you saw. Tremendous quickness by the young man.
Bostic, 170-pound junior. So Thomasville is going to see the return of him again next year.
Much to the delight of Coach Hodges and the staff, and much to the dismay of the opponents in 1 AAA.
That's correct. Hodges on the option, throws it back. It's
Mark Bowen with a fumble recovery.
It's recovered by Stevens County's Mark Bowen, number 89. So Stevens County comes up with the ball at the 31-yard line, a key turnover in this game at this point.
They say you win championships with defense and a good punting game. And both of these teams thus far have exhibited, you know, both of those aspects of the game.
All right, the Indians coming up to the line now. Bowen flip-flops to unbalance the line. Handoff goes to the fullback, Robertson.
Good job then up front by the Thomasville Bulldogs. They're also equal to the task. Lance Palmer making the tackle then on the fullback.
Jabbar Wiley going into the lineup for the Indians at fullback. He and Robertson will be alternating at that position most of the night tonight. 8:07 left in the second quarter. Marcus Dickson.
Once again, Lance Palmer, he is really quick, 200-pound senior. One of the leading tacklers there on the defensive line for the Thomasville Bulldogs. We noticed a lot of these young men from Thomasville on the field warming up, and Mike Jones, he's about 6'4", but you know, Charles, he looks like he weighs 225 or 235. Tremendous looking athlete. By the way, his father coaches defensive line. Coach Jones has been there a number of years. Tremendous respect, you know, of the community down there, and has a brother, Sean Jones, that's at Georgia Tech, that led the Thomasville Bulldogs last year.
Kelly Steele back on a 3rd and 9. Steele under pressure. He fires out looking for Kevin Collins, but he's overthrown. Collins not able to get to it. Indians in a punting situation once again, not able to convert on that fumble recovery at the 31-yard line.
Excellent coverage then by the Bulldogs, and great pursuit up front by the defensive line for us. Chad Brown up front, Lance Palmer up front, Alan Williams up front, doing a good job of pressuring Kelly Steele. And the defense then shows, you know, the pride that they have, being able to make Stevens County punt the ball away to them.
Brian Rogers, the snapper, getting over the ball for the Indians. Clay Ware back to punt.
And they appear just about every time to be.
It's a low snap. Thomasville did not rush a lot of people, so Ware gets a pretty good punt away. It's going to be down at the 44-yard line, so Thomasville Bulldogs will put it in play at their own 44.
I wish that we had the opportunity, Charles, to be able to tell time of possession, but it would appear right here at this stage in the game has been pretty much even as far as the exchange of punts are concerned. We're just a little short on manpower if we could actually keep the time of possession, but it would seem that it's pretty balanced right now.
Bostic with his first pass of the night.
Great
complete.
Catch. Fantastic catch then by
Anthony
number 15.
Hayes coming down with the ball on a leaning dive.
He leaned in there and got it, in the words of Larry Munson. Great catch then by the young man from Thomasville. That's a big league catch. That is a big league catch.
That's a first down for the Bulldogs. Ball spotted at the 31 of Stevens County. So a big pickup there for Thomasville. Clock is down to 6:34 left in this half.
Seeing action both ways, senior. Big play once again. Stevens County coming in. Number 54, Jamel Pulliam.
And they just sewed up Austin before he had a chance to do anything or to even try to find a hole in the line. The Stevens County defenders so fast, Austin having nowhere to go. 2nd down 10. Number 72 limping off the field for Thomasville.
Looked like he might have been shaken up just a little bit. Ernest Bryant in there at the offensive guard. Byron Stone back in.
Bostic again trying to get loose. The ball is loose again. Stevens County has recovered once again. So the Indians picking it up at exactly the same place, the 31-yard line, as they did before.
Can't fault the young man then. He was trying to cut back across the grain, you know, to get substantial yards, and he was already going to be making that into a gainer then. And when he did cut back, it looked like he might have lost it just a little bit. Didn't see who picked up that fumble for Stevens County. Did you catch that one?
Not really. It possibly... Well, I'm not sure. I have no idea who picked it up. I saw them slapping heads down on the sideline, but they were slapping everybody's head, so I couldn't tell from that. Kelly Steele back in with the Indians offensive unit. 1st and 10 to 31. Marcus Dickson falling forward for about a yard.
And just an excellent job by the defensive front for Thomasville. They have a number 90 in there. I kind of think that might be Chad Brown, number 70. We don't have a number 90 listed on our program up here, but we do have a number 70, and he is a good-looking young man, so I believe that might be who it is.
Good sideline shot of Kelly Steele in the Indians offense. Steele throwing for Marcus Dickson. Incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9.
Number 6, Marcus Dickson. Defending on the play for Thomasville. Number 15, Anthony Hayes. The 3rd down and 9.
The Thomasville defense is so quick. Certainly, you know, when you're trying to throw against them, understanding that they have such great athletes, the people they have back in the secondary, Hayes, Jones, Williams, Futch, they've been together now. They're all seniors back there and been together 3 or 4 years, and they've played back there for quite some time, and they have such good speed. They can play you man-to-man on the corners and just let the other people rip.
Stevens County with 3 wideouts.
Good play by Thomasville Bulldogs, number 77, Alex Mash. Coming through. Looked like Stevens County was coming with the open line option once again. Alex Mash making a big play for the Thomasville Bulldogs then.
Stevens County forced into punting situation. Ball is now on the 27-yard line. It's 4th and 14.
4 minutes to go here in the first half. And probably much to the fans' applause. Glad for it to move along pretty fast, as cold as it is.
Clay Ware back again to punt for the Indians. Good snap, and Ware gets a nice punt off. It's going to take a good Indian roll this time. And down inside the 30-yard line at the 29 goes the ball. The Thomasville Bulldogs will put it in play there. We'll be back in just a moment with the rest of the second quarter action on the state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Thomasville getting set to come up with the offensive set. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. The Dogs back at their own 29-yard line. Bostic on the keeper, gets loose, has some running room. Gets pulled down just inside the 50 at about the 48.
He came out there and did a great job on the option, gave a stiff arm, picked up his speed, got those feet moving, and got down for very, very substantial yardage and got them going after a very, very fine punt, then got Thomasville going now, getting them out of the hole with a great run, coming out on the option then. Bingo! Mark Bowen!
Mark Bowen on the first big sack of the night as Bowen comes up and gets Bostic back at the 40-yard line. Loss on the play of, let's see, that's at the 43-yard line, so loss on the play of about 5 yards.
Mark Bowen just knifed through from his defensive end position then and made a big play.
2:42 and the clock is ticking with the time left in the first half. Bostic is looking, he's checking his receivers, and it was almost pulled down on another great catch by Anthony Hayes. However, he wasn't able to hold on as the Indian defenders were right there at him.
These wide receivers for the Thomasville Bulldogs, Charles, are good-looking people. They're tall, they're rangy, they got good quickness. They're just good-looking wide receivers. I can see why they come out, you know, oftentimes in 2 splits. They certainly do keep you honest out there on the corners, you know, by making your defense have to play them. And then Bostic, even though he's a wishbone quarterback, he's certainly no slouch in his fundamentals looking to throw the football. He looks very, very, very well coached and looks like a very, very able passer also.
All right, they put Jones in the slot this time. Bostic is back under pressure.
Big play by Forte, James Singleton. Big number 77, Darrell Banks. Looked like it might have been a screen pass in, but Forte coming through with a blitz. James Singleton coming up, and then big Darrell Banks nailing him down.
4th and 21 now. Thomasville going to have to go back into punt formation. 1:56 on the clock.
A lot of pride, you know, in both of these defenses, you know, watching them play here tonight. Good punt.
Nice spiral.
Good punt.
Takes a good Thomasville bounce. It's going to put Stevens County inside their 20, so the Indian offense will be operating from all the way down at the 17-yard line. 1:31 in this half.
Their best punt of the night, I believe.
And it looked like it started off so slowly, but boy, the spirals got to turning, and it just kept going. Long hang time on that one.
I think Stevens County right here with 1:25 to go, particularly the fact, that they're, going into the wind here, would like to maintain possession of the football here and not have to give it back to Thomasville, right before the half here, particularly with having to punt into the wind.
Clock at 67 seconds. Handoff going to Robertson, the fullback.
Leonard Christian just knifed through then from his linebacker position. Oh, he moved so well to the football.
Timeout has been taken by the Bulldogs. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment. This is the state championship game on the flagship playoff station, TV 32. After the Thomasville timeout, Steve Savage, number 60, comes up over the ball, the center for the Indians. 55 seconds left in the first half. Kelly Steele, as he shouts the directions and the set formation to the Indians, pitches it back to Eldorado Cochran. Cochran with nowhere much to go. He gains back to the line of scrimmage, possibly.
And you can tell that they have been schooled on Eldorado Cochran, because every time tonight they have just swarmed on Eldorado. Excellent job of preparation on the part of the Thomasville Bulldogs by Coach Hodges, Coach Bobo, and their staff.
Timeout has been taken once again by the Dogs. 49 seconds left at this point in the half.
Coach Hodges and Coach Bobo, talking with them, before the game, appreciated them taking the time to visit with us, because I know they've got a lot of things on their mind beside, TV 32, but ask them, wasn't it good to know they had coached at Commerce before and knew the area, and had even played up here before and knew the area and everything. And they said, well, it's good to know the area, but it ain't good to be playing these big old boys from up here. Coach Walker out talking to his troops now, instructing them on third down situation. They would like to have, gotten out of this, without punting the ball, but Coach Hodges very, very wisely, calling times out to make Stevens County punt the ball to them, right before halftime.
Stevens County now faced with a third down and 9.5, I guess we'd call it. It's almost 3rd and 10 at this point. Stevens County coming up with 2 tight ends and the full wishbone backfield. Handoff goes to Cochran, and Eldorado gets a few yards. He gets it up to about the 23-yard line, and that will bring up 4th down and about 7. So Stevens County will be in a punting situation. That'll bring up 4th and 6, it looks like. At any rate, Stevens County will be in a punting situation.
Well, they're very, very versatile at blocking punts. They successfully did it last week, on 2 occasions, against Thompson. And they have excellent specialty teams. So you can bet right here with 43 seconds to go, their specialization will certainly be put into play here with trying to probably block this punt.
The lone score of the evening came on a Jabbar Wiley 35-yard jaunt. And as you mentioned, Coach, it looked almost like that one last week against Dalton. And that was the game. Well, there were so many plays in that game that you might call the game-winning play. It's hard to determine, but that one certainly was one of the big 4 or 5 plays of that game.
And looks like they're coming after it here. Excellent punt.
Clay Ware gets away a nice punt. It's going to be taken for a fair catch at the 45-yard line. Under a lot of pressure, Ware was able to get that one away and do a handy job of it as he gets it out to the 45 of Thomasville. They'll put it in play at their own 45. 36 seconds now left in the half.
And 36 seconds left in the half. You know, I think particularly since they have excellent field position right here, since you know, Bostic has thrown as well as he has run this year, and they're in a passing formation.
All right, Bostic is back to pass. He's got number 15, Anthony Hayes, over on the sideline. He has connected with him once before tonight and tried on a couple of occasions, and that's close to a first down. It looks like where the official is going to spot it, it is enough for a first down.
Noticing Bostic's footwork, he just does an excellent job of, you know, getting out from under the center and then picking up his receivers real quick.
According to where the official spotted it, it was not enough for a first down. Second down and 1. Pardon me on that. 32 seconds now in the half. Once again, boy, Hayes really stretching out, trying to grab that. Looks like it almost went between his arms. He had to hide for it, but just couldn't pull it down. That'll bring up second down and 1. Third down and 1, pardon me. Clock is at 27 seconds and stopped.
Good call then on second down with that far to go, knowing that, you know, you have, you know, 2 more downs to get it 1 yard and to get the first down and stop the clock and then have your other play called.
A little bit of confusion in the backfield, and not
play by Eldorado Cochran.
Eldorado Cochran not fooled at all. He took his assignment and kept with his man, number 15, Anthony Hayes. He pulls him down for a big loss, a loss of about 15 yards. Now, that's what we talked about, Coach, that against a fast, quick team like Thomasville, the defense has to stay at home, and Eldorado exhibited that very well as he stayed right with his man as he's supposed to.
Certainly a big league play then. It looked like it was going to be an end around, possibly a throwback or pass down there deep, and Eldorado Cochran stayed with his man and pulled him down for the loss, playing on offense and defense tonight.
7 seconds now remaining.
A fourth down now, they believe they'll be.
Coach Rodney Walker out on the field for the Indians as some last-moment substitutions are coming in during this timeout.
And Stevens County may be going for the block here with 7 seconds, or may elect just to retain possession of the football. Go back to punt for Thomasville Bulldogs.
Once again, it's Jerome Williams. And the Indians do rush him, but Williams gets away another good punt. It's an end-over-ender, and it goes out at the 29. Stevens County will have 1 second to put the ball in play, so that's enough for one play. Indians offense comes out on the field, as well as Thomasville's defense.
Been a well-played football game the first half. Probably about the same number of exchanges, you know, on puntings and punting situations, and probably the time of possessions about the same. Been the first half, Charles, had some big defensive plays in it. Both Thomasville and Stevens County, you know, also.
All right, the last play of the first half. It's going to belong to the Indians offense. Let's see what they do with it. Kelly Steele falls on it. That ends the half. The Stevens County Indians ahead in this state championship game in Class AAA, 7-0. And you're watching this state championship game on the TV playoff flagship station, TV 32. And now tonight's halftime show featuring the Thomasville Bulldog Marching Band, to be followed by the Stevens County Indian Marching Band.
The Thomasville High School Bulldog Marching Band.
They are good. Hey, stay in the ball. I like it.
Brothers of State Billy and Sidney Nash. Bring them on.
The line on the wall. Way down there.
Several of our band parents and band members too, featuring Toccoa Sweet Seal, titled Little Bitty Pretty One.
We're doing that with Cowboy.
Game at Stevens County and Toccoa, Georgia. The Stevens County Indians and the Thomasville Bulldogs. Stevens County Indians captains on the field. And Stevens County is going to receive the kickoff at this half. Stevens County leading this game 7-0. I'm Charles Head along with Coach Mac Potts bringing you tonight's game along the airwaves of TV 32 as the flagship station for this particular playoff game. We welcome those fans from Thomasville who are watching, as well as other fans throughout the state that are carrying this game. You're watching this game being played on Saturday night, which is unlike most of the games played in Northeast Georgia. Some of the teams around Atlanta play on Saturday nights because of the limited ability of fields there. However, several years ago, the Georgia High School Athletic Association ruled that all state playoff games or state championship games would be held on Saturday night due to the long distances to drive. And of course, Thomasville had to come a long way. They're just a few miles from the Florida line, and they came to a few miles from the South Carolina line. So it's as it should be, a team from the north part of North Georgia and the south part of South Georgia playing for the state championship.
First half, Charles, both teams are pretty much relying on their defenses, you know, for field position and things of that nature, and pretty much of a defensive battle, you know, the first half, and we thought that would probably be the case. However, oftentimes when we predict that, it turns into a high-scoring affair, but both defenses playing very, very well, you know, in the first half.
Corey Clark set to kick off for the Thomasville Bulldogs as this second half gets underway. Temperature has dropped now to about 29 degrees here in Northeast Georgia. Kick is going to be taken at the 11-yard line. Eldorado Cochran looking for room. He's got running room. Cochran is outside. Eldorado Cochran is out across the 50.
All the way.
Cochran to the 47-yard line of Thomasville. Great run back by Eldorado Cochran of the Indians.
The Cadillac put it in overdrive, followed in behind his blockers and broke it to the outside. And number 8 just did a fantastic job then to keep that from going for a touchdown.
The quarterback, Charles Bostic.
Mr. Dependable then. Stevens County is in excellent field position here to start the second half.
All right, Kelly Steele, the quarterback for the Stevens County Indians. He's got Mike Robertson, number 33, at fullback. That man, Eldorado Cochran, at running back, number 34. Also Marcus Dickson, number 6, in there at a halfback slot out of the wishbone. Thomasville and Stevens County, as we mentioned in the first half, both run the wishbone set. They break the bone very seldom. They generally run from that full wishbone offensive set.
Chad Brown, Lance Palmer, Leonard Christian, Stacy Ross right up front, stymieing, the power offense. Tremendous quickness up front by the Bulldogs, clad in the gold, white, and red.
Cochran once again on the take from Kelly Steele. Eldorado getting about a yard. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 6.
Alex Mash on the initial hit then, and then Stacy Ross coming in with the help along with Mark Futch.
3rd and 6 for Stevens County after the good kickoff return from Eldorado Cochran. The Indians need a 1st down now to keep this drive going. Indians a good field position. They're in Thomasville territory at the 43. They break the wishbone now, put Dickson as a blocking back. Robertson and Cochran are the setbacks. Steele is coming around. And Kelly Steele is pulled down for a loss of 1.5 yards.
Once again, the quickness then by Leonard Christian. It looked like he was going to have some running room to the outside, and Leonard Christian then just scraped off from his linebacker position and just slowed that down, and it looked like he might have pretty good yardage out of that, but then stopped it, for virtually no gain.
Stevens County sends Brian Rogers in as the snapper. Clay Ware, number 21, back to punt for the Indians. He'll be punting back from his own 42-yard line. It's a low snap. Ware is able to get it away. It's a fair catch is called for, but it's going to go down deep into Thomasville territory.
Hey.
Indians down it at the half-yard line.
And who else? Mark Bowen, Bontel Johnson. Excellent punt. Got a good bounce then, and super job then.
So Thomasville starts off from very poor field position.
Let's point out something that they were coached to do then. When you're going to kick it and knowing there's a possibility to go in the end zone, you run to the end zone to keep it from going in. If you start looking, a lot of times it could just, the ball turning over, being oblong, could double right over into the end zone.
Jerome Williams split to the bottom of your screen. Bostic on the keeper, got some yardage. Bostic coming out for almost a 10-yard gain. Let's see if that's enough for the 1st down.
And there again, great athletic ability, tremendous quickness by Bostic then. Looked like he might even be thrown in the backfield then. And then he got it up for a 9-yard gain. Great play by Bostic then.
Stevens County with a man down on the far side of the field. We can't tell who that is from our vantage point. Coach Tatham, Coach Walker going out to the troops. That ball was spotted. It's 2nd down and about 1.5 yards, a little more than a yard for the 1st down.
Excellent run then by Charles Bostic. Looks like number 44, Brian Rogers from here. No, I beg your pardon, 54 maybe.
We'll take a break right now. We'll be back in just a few moments. It's 9:04 left in the 3rd quarter on the state championship game. This is the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Randall Sherman was the player who was injured on that play. He's coming off the field now. Randall has been hampered by injury all week, and he normally is the starting halfback in the Indian offensive wishbone set. However, Marcus Dickson has played the entire game so far at that position. Sherman has been in his normal duties on defense, however. So Randall Sherman coming off now under his own power, but with the assistance of both Dr. Payton and Coach Tatham.
He was hurt early in the first quarter against Dalton. As a matter of fact, it was the first series of plays, and then he stayed out for about 3 series of plays against Dalton and then played defense the rest of the night.
Once again, Jerome Williams split to the bottom of your screen. Bostic's handoff goes to Williams. James Williams getting the first down.
And certainly you can depend on that young man. I'm sure he's carried it many, many times this year, rambling, for over 1,100 yards, on the season. How many times do you think he's had that football stuck in his gut? Getting the first down and getting them out of a hole after starting, deep on their 1-yard line then.
All right, Anthony Hayes split wide. Jerome Williams in the slot. Bostic on the keeper. Bostic with a little running room. Bostic getting up to the first down. Looks like the officials think this is closer than I do. They're going to measure.
He gets, when you're playing, you're trying to get in good defensive position, to play Bostic, and he just gets on you so quick with his quickness, and then obviously has real good football, knowledge and sense of field presence and being able to get the additional yardage with his athletic ability and knowing where he is on the field.
All right, it is short of a first down. It's second down and just inches shy of a first down. And the wind is really whipping up all of a sudden. You can see the flag sticking straight out on the flagpole. So the wind has beefed itself up. I'm sure the wind chill factor has us in -degrees at this point.
Looked like he got the first down then.
Williams once again was the ball carrier, and Williams once again gets a first down for the Bulldogs of Thomasville. Ball is spotted now at the 25 with 1st and 10. Clock is down to 8:08 left in this third quarter. Stevens County leading the game 7-0.
Thomasville Bulldogs have looked good, on this drive so far, coming out with 2 first downs.
Bostic once again on a little keeper as he falls forward for a couple of yards.
The other 2 times that Bostic had come out on first down situation, Charles, it got very, very substantial yardage, which made it an easy call on second down. And then that time the Stevens County defense was able to stay at home and do a good job and stop him for about a 1.5-yard gain.
They have 2 wideouts this time, the Bulldogs do. Bostic throwing. He's overthrowing his man. The intended receiver was Anthony Hayes, number 15. Third and about 8 now for Thomasville. Big third down play for Stevens County. The defense wanting to hold, the Thomasville Bulldogs offense wanting to keep this drive going.
With Randall Sherman being out with an injury, Kelly Steele going in. Kelly Steele now manning the safety position for the Stevens County Indians.
And the ball once again underthrown for Anthony Hayes, or thrown to the wrong side of him. Hayes not able to turn around and get it, so that brings up 4th down with Thomasville back at their own 24-yard line. So the deep punt by Clay Ware that put them in deep field position, even though Thomasville able to get 2 first downs in that drive, still they are in relatively poor field position at this point to punt from. So Stevens County ought to be rewarded with good field position on this particular catch.
And through the efforts of Mr. Bostic, he was, they did have some other help, getting the first down, but he certainly did direct that drive and get them out from being deep or having to punt, from deeper in their territory.
Williams punting from back at his 12-yard line. The punt is going to fall short. It falls at the 40, rolls down to the 37. So Stevens County will put it in play there as it's down by the Bulldogs. Stevens County bringing the offense on the field now.
But still, you know, there again, the pride of both of these defenses, all important in this championship tilt. Championships are won on defense and on the kicking and punting game, and both of these teams have exhibited thus far, you know, they have very, very good in both aspects.
Kelly Steele trying to fight back to the line of scrimmage.
Excellent pursuit then by Alan Williams from his defensive end position. Also Lance Palmer with some pressure then, even threw him for a loss. Stevens County looking to loosen them up just a little bit. Looked like there's going to be a throw down field then.
Aaron Whitlock checking in. Kevin Collins checking out for the Indians. Whitlock is split to the upper part of your screen. Robertson, Dickson, Cochran in the backfield for the Indians, along with Kelly Steele, the quarterback. Handoff goes to Cochran. El Dorado getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Now it'll bring up 3rd and 10. This game has been one pretty much of field position and ball control. The Indians getting a touchdown and then recovering 2 Thomasville fumbles in the game, which gave Stevens County field position. Also during this game, the punting game has proved to be field position, but both defenses virtually stopping the offensive thrust of the other team. One big play really has been the difference in this ball game at this point. That was the 35-yard jaunt by Javar Wiley. We'll take a break right now as the teams take a timeout on the state championship game for AAA on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Coaches of both teams coming off the field as they get ready to put the ball back in action once again. 5:09 left in the 3rd quarter. Stevens County has 2 wideouts, a slot man, and a single back in Mike Robertson. Steele fires downfield. He fires for El Dorado Cochran, almost intercepted by Mike Jones. Stevens County sending in the punting unit. It's 4th down and 9. Ball is at the 38-yard line of the Indians. Awesome responsibility tonight lies on the toe and the leg of these punters.
They have been much at work tonight. Looks like they're lining up to come for the block again.
Good snap. Good punt and a lot of traffic. It looks like somebody may have gotten a hand on it, but it's going to take a Stevens County roll and get across midfield down to the 40. Going to be down at the 42 as a matter of fact. So somebody did get a finger on the ball. Thomasville with a little better field position than they've started out with in some drives in the past.
Thomasville now in excellent field position and have the ever dangerous Mr. Bostic, you know, at the helm.
They've got Williams in there at fullback. Mike Jones and Sean Austin are the running backs. Bostic handing off to Williams. Williams with nowhere to go. The Stevens County Indian defense just sacking him up.
A lot of swarming then by Joel Scott, Forey Tate, Vontel Johnson, Jamel Pulliam. Been a very, very well played football game, Charles. Notice that haven't been, you know, but just very, very few penalties. Don't believe we had any penalties against Thomasville. Had only 1 penalty maybe against Stevens for a procedure maybe.
That's right. It's been a very, very Well played and very cleanly played game to this point.
Excellent preparation on the part of both of these coaching staffs.
2nd and 8. Bostic has got room. Bostic is down across midfield down to the 45-yard line. Charles Bostic with a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs of Thomasville.
Came out then with a counter option, having gone to the option to the right-hand side very, very successfully after the exchange of punch down there, and then came with a counter option back then, and once again used that good quickness, hit the seam, and got a good gain.
One of the few times, actually, Thomasville has been in Stevens County territory tonight. They split Anthony Hayes to the top of the screen. Bostic handing off to Williams. Williams sewed up.
Joel Scott once again for a Tate up front, doing their job. Defensive tackle certainly against the wishbone has the responsibility of tackling the fullback from the wishbone position. They just got so many weapons. You have to honor all of them from their wishbone when they come out in the true wishbone. When they break it, Bostic has the great athletic ability, you know, to be able to hit the seam and get on the corner so quick, so they just keep you so honest.
They split Hayes now to the lower side of the screen. Bostic is looking. He's on the option. Bostic is on the run. The defense can't contain him. They bring him down finally at the 25-yard line. Excellent run by Charles Bostic. He just seems to outrun everybody and slide through the tackles whenever they even have an opportunity to get a hand on him.
You said it so well, Charles, and they had defensive people in position to make the play then, and just did a great job then when he got on the corner, turned on the speed. So not only does he have good feet, but he has good speed also, and the Thomasville Bulldogs are in excellent field position, and they've got a good march going right here.
Ball's at the 25. Thomasville with a 1st and 10. 2:48 in the 3rd quarter. Bostic on the option once again as he comes outside. He turns upfield.
They did an excellent job then of stringing out Bontel Johnson along with Marcus Dickson then, keeping him spread out then. Still got 3 yards on the game. And obviously Coach Hodges' game plan right here is to start out the wishbone attack from its initial point, and then Charles go to work. Unbalanced line for the Thomasville Bulldogs.
Bostic again on that same run out of the option.
He may go all the way.
Bostic is gone. He trips and not able to get in the end zone. Bostic just trips down there about the 5. Gave the Indians a chance to get to him, to slow him down a little bit.
Once again, it's been Bostic left and Bostic right, and Bostic left and Bostic right has certainly got them down there, and he's done a great job. Came back again with the counter option.
It's first and goal now from the 5-yard line for the Bulldogs of Thomasville. Stevens County now calling for a timeout with 1:52 left in this 3rd quarter. Indians are ahead 7-0, but Thomasville down knocking on the door. Thomasville's coaches talking with them in the offensive huddle. Stevens County has a couple of players coming over to the sidelines to talk. Randall Sherman now checks back in for the Indians. Marcus Dickson coming out of the game for just a moment.
Well, it's going to be 1st and goal for the Thomasville Bulldogs. You know, credit has to go also to those offensive linemen up front, Greg Fortson, Bill Dormany, Morris Carter, and Byron Stone, and Rennie Thompson, for being able to give him time to work, you know, to get down that line of scrimmage. So they have certainly done a good job. You know, give them some credit also for the fine job that they've done to give him some opportunity to work.
Williams held for a yard. That'll bring it down to the 4-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4.
dangerous play down here inside the 10-yard line, particularly when you have an option team, is to run the option for some type of loaded option, which means, you know, they're going to load the defensive end. And since they run the option so well, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, to see them come out on the corner, you know, with the option here.
Ball pops loose on the option, and he goes in for a touchdown. Or let's see, yes, it is a touchdown. I thought it popped loose for a moment, but it was the option play. And Thomasville scores from 4 yards out.
Super job then by Charles Bostic. He pitched that thing as he was going down and made the pitch, you know, going down, and got Thomasville in the end zone, you know, for 6 points then. It seemed like they had him stopped right there at the line, and which they did, and then he just made the pitch right at the last minute.
The kick is wide and no good. Wide and also short. So Stevens County doing a great job of getting a hand on that ball to block it. That makes the score 7-6. And Coach, that could be a very important lost point for the Bulldogs.
Certainly it could have been, but looked like just a pressure, like someone might have got just a hand on it to make it deflect off to the sideline there. And certainly, you know, in a game this important where the defensive sides of the football have been so important and the punt game's been so important, it certainly could loom very, very large. However, you know, there's about 13 minutes to play in this game, minute 10 here and 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. So anything could happen, certainly, but certainly that could loom to be very, very big.
All right, the score now 7-6. Indians still in the lead.
It says something also for the pride of the defense, even though the touchdown was given up, to rush, you know, on the extra point attempt, you know, to keep them from trying to get the extra point, at least not to quit, you know, to get in there and give the effort, you know, to deflect the ball.
Set to kick off once again is Corey Clark for the Bulldogs. Both sets of fans on both sides of the field on their feet now as this game goes almost to the fourth quarter. 7-6 is the score. It's a close game for the state championship. Eldorado Cochran once again with some running room. Eldorado getting up to the 30.
Mike Jones, Mr. Versatile and Mr. Dependable, making the stop then. Well, Stevens County now will go to work against the much heralded defense of the Thomasville.
Minute 4 left in this quarter. Steve Savage breaks the huddle and comes up to the line. Kevin Collins split out to the lower side of the screen. It's Robertson, Dickson, Cochran behind Kelly Steele in the wishbone wishbone offensive set. Marcus Dickson gets the call. Dickson has running room. Marcus Dickson close to the first down.
Marcus Dickson did a tremendous job then of getting on the corner. Looked like their pursuit was going to get him, but he showed some quickness of his own then and turned what would look like was going to be about a 3-yard gain into about a 7-yard gain, and maybe very, very close to the first down there, but at least it looked like it appeared there on about the 35-yard line that he was going to be stopped about a 5-yard, but at extra effort. And every time we've seen him carry the football, the young man has done an excellent job.
And Dickson turns that corner really fast too. Also, he lunges for yardage as he's going down. So Marcus Dickson gets the Indians within a yard of a first down. Steele handing off to Cochran. Eldorado with nowhere to go. May have lost a few inches.
Lance Plummer and Chad Brown once again, along with Leonard Christian, Stacy Ross, just stopping the power, you know, right up front then. This is a big down right here for Stevens County on third down.
Third down and 2 yards to go. The ball is at the 37. 13 seconds now in the third quarter. driving very close to the first down. Let's see if Cochran got it. I believe this was going to be close enough to measure, Coach.
It's going to be real close. It'll depend on the spot. Of course, it always does depend on the spot.
And let's see if we can get a shot of that from our upstairs cameraman and Mark Watson. It's a first down for the Indians by 3/4 of ball length. That's the end of the third quarter. Stevens County leads this game 7-6 over the Thomasville Bulldogs. We'll come back with the final 12 minutes of this year's state championship game in AAA in just a moment. You're watching the state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. Indian Reservation in Toccoa, Georgia on a chilly Saturday night in December.
That was an all-important first down for the Stevens County offense then.
Pitch back goes to Cochran. Cochran with a little running room. Eldorado Cochran turns back upfield.
He's outside. He may go.
Eldorado Cochran finally pulled out at the 39-yard line, but Cochran breaking free for about a 20-yard gain.
The young man did an excellent job then, ran to the outside, cut back across the middle. I've got to credit those offensive linemen up front from Stevens County then for the fine job they did to get him to the point. Shane Kelly, Nick Steeples, Clay Ware, Steve Savage, Henry Powell, and Mark Brown. But also the young man, once he got to and saw where he had no more yardage, then he started cutting back across the grain and did all of that on his own.
Kevin Collins is split out wide. Jabbar Wiley, the ball carrier. Wiley, the fullback, getting about 3 yards on that play.
And Jabbar was doing a good job, and to show you the outstanding job that the offensive line did, Steve Savage then actually Jabbar Wiley tripped over his feet as Jabbar was running a little quick trap back in there. He actually tripped over Steve Savage as Steve was blocking down the field then.
Pitch back goes to Marcus Dickson. Dickson tries to turn the corner, gets a couple more. Boy, the going's tough down there against that Thomasville defense.
Well, it seems like you've got a hole against them, and then all of a sudden the hole just closes because they're so quick. It looks like you've got an alley to run in, and then they just swarm and get to the hole, you know, so quick.
Third down and about 6 yards to go for the Indians for a first down. The ball is spotted at the 35, just inside the 35-yard line. Another important third down for the Indians. They want to keep the ball out of the hands of that volatile Thomasville offense. Pitch goes to Cochran. He's got his blockers out there. Eldorado trying to get around the corner and does, but only comes up with a yard or so.
They played it real well, stringing out the sweep then, you know, to keep him from getting it, you know, on the corner right there. Played it real well.
Fourth and a short 5.
And you said fourth and a short 5. It depends upon which side of the ball you on.
Indians lining up to go for it. And it looked at one point as though someone had jumped off sides. I saw no flags going down, though. Thomasville takes over at the 34-yard line.
Well, the defense, once again, the defense stand tall, come back in there, play tough, and give the ball back to, as you had so well put it, the volatile, very
outstanding Charles Bostic-led Thomasville Bulldog offense. James Singleton once again, Forey Tate. Brian Rogers from the defensive side of the football for Stevens County.
Second down and 9 yards to go now for the Bulldogs.
Jabbar Wiley in the ball game at linebacker for Brian Rogers. And be ready for Charles Bostic to go to work.
And there goes Mr. Bostic as you speak. Bostic turning on the speed, getting across the 50 down to the 46 or 47 for a first down for Thomasville. 8:49 left in the game.
Stevens County once again being in position oftentimes, Charles, to make the defensive play, but tremendous athletic ability.
Bostic again finding a way to turn it upfield, but this time for no gain.
James Singleton, young sophomore for Stevens County then, staying at home, doing a good job wrapping him up.
Be second down. Matter of fact, he lost about a half yard. Second down and 11 now.
I can certainly see why these two teams play for the state championship, because they certainly, this has been a battle royal just as we had thought.
7:54, the clock is continuing to tick. Williams, number 33, the ball carrier, scoops and slides and squirts and gets about 4 yards. Big third down now for both teams as Thomasville wants to keep the drive going. Stevens County's defense wanting to put a stop to this. Crucial third down, I would say, at this point with 7.5 minutes left in the game.
And you think this one isn't big.
It's so big, Thomasville's going to take a timeout. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment on TV 32. It's third down now, third down and 7 for Thomasville. Big play in this game, 7:14 left in the fourth quarter. They go to a one-man back in the bone. They put Jones back. They stop him short of the first down. Number 18 is the ball carrier, Sean Austin. Austin is pulled down short. It'll bring up fourth down and about 6 yards to go. That play was slow to develop, and it gave Stevens County's defense a chance to really, even though it spread across the field, Stevens County defense had a chance to snuff it before, but about a yard gain on that. Stevens County sending back Kevin Collins. Their punter, Jerome Williams, is standing at the 46. Stevens County wanting to get their hands on the ball and have a sustained drive now to hold on to this game. The snap was low. Williams able to get it away. The ball's going to bounce and go into the end zone, it looks like. Yes, it is a touchback. Boy, it was close. It was almost down at the half-yard line. Almost what Stevens County had done to Thomasville early was reversed this time. However, the momentum of the ball and the player carried it into the end zone for the touchback. Stevens County will put it in play at the 20.
Valiant effort by 45, Mark Futz then, to be able to get it and try to down it on the 1-yard line, and it would have been a tremendous boost. Not that they need that much help because they're an excellent defensive team, but it had been an excellent boost for them to make Stevens County start, from the 1-yard line. So what becomes important now, Charles, is the clock with 6:21 to go. The clock becomes important now to both teams. Stevens County just powering it out, getting in behind the offensive lineman.
El Dorado gaining 1.5 yards or maybe 2 on the play.
Looked like about a 1 yard gain, maybe a 1.5 yard gain.
Pitch back goes to Cochran again. El Dorado scooting in for maybe another yard.
Seems at times, once again, Stevens County will have, you know, an opening, and they'll look like they're fixing to make a thrust, and then all of a sudden, we talked about, you know, the quickness of them, you know, even their down linemen, you seem also to have, you know, great quickness to be able to move.
Thomasville with a player down over near the line of scrimmage. Officials have called a timeout as they come out to take care of that player. 5:23 is left in the game. A great game for a state championship game, Coach. We've talked about it. These teams ranked number 1, number 2 coming into this game in several polls. They've flip-flopped in a couple of them, and they've both been ranked number 1 all year long at some point, or at least at some point during the year. And so it's fitting it should come down to this tonight. Right now, they're about as close as you can get without being tied. It's a 1-point difference, 7-6. The Indians on top of the Bulldogs of Thomasville.
It certainly is, and as we mentioned, you know, earlier, you know, in the telecast, we certainly can't understand, you know, why both of these teams are vying, you know, for the state championship.
Let's take a break during the state championship game on the TV playoff flagship station, TV 32.
Forty
42 is the injured player. That's 42 for Thomasville, Charles Hayes. Reserve linebacker for the Bulldogs. Stevens County now with a 3rd and 6. Kelly Steele in trouble, gets pulled down behind the line. Big play for the Thomasville Bulldogs on defense as they pull Steele down at the 18-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down and 12.
Again, the defense, Stevens County run a little bootleg action then to try to get the ball, you know, to the outside. Defense just swarming again. And I would just bet that they've been coming, looked like they were coming most of the night, that with 4:30 to go here, they'll be coming.
Clay Ware, excellent job of getting the ball away. Ball is going to be spotted inside the 50 at the 45 line.
I think the crowd,
4:22 now in the game.
Crowd wanting a roughing the kicker penalty then.
Officials ruling that the players were blocked into him.
Now the clock becomes important, and with 4:18 to go.
Bostic on the carry. Bostic getting close to the 1st down. It's going to depend on where they spot him going out of bounds as Bostic gets down into the 40, inside the 40, down to about the 36-yard line. And it will be a 1st down, looks like. Yes, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. All important clock now. It's 4:05. Ball is spotted directly on the 35. comes the ball carrier, loses the ball. The Indians fall on top of Bostic, who had fallen on top of the ball. So Thomasville recovers the fumble. That'll bring up second down now as they lose about a half yard on that play. Second down and a little over 10. Clock continuing to tick, 3:48. Clock at this point, the ally of the Indians. However, with one play of this Thomasville offense, that could be changed to an ally for them. So very important right now for both teams. Pitch back goes back to number 18 for Thomasville, Sean Austin. 170-pound senior. He gets about 6 yards.
They did a good job of making Bostic pitch then. Then Sean Austin did a good job of running the football in that situation.
Pardon me, Austin only gained a couple on that as he went out of bounds. Stevens County's fans yelling for their defense to hold on. Terrence Hadley checking out of the lineup for the Bulldogs. Third down, 9 yards to go for a first down. Thomasville has Bostic back. They're firing. It's complete, then dropped. I thought it was complete, but it wasn't. The ball was dropped. So Stevens County's defense holds once again at a very important time. Fourth down now. 3:21 left in the game.
Well thrown ball, drop back in the pocket, and then we've seen him scramble and throw. We've seen him drop back in the pocket and throw. So very, very capable, and you can bet that Bostic will be on his own in this situation to make it or break it right here.
All right, they break the wishbone. They put a slot man in motion. Jones going in motion. Bostic is looking. Bostic is looking. He's caught in the back. Stevens County with the ball at the 40-yard line. The Indians have held. Stevens County with 3:11 now left in this game.
Great pressure then by the defensive front lineman then to keep him in the pocket. It's great pressure. Once again, the clock is certainly all important, you know, in this ball game, and with 3 to go, you can watch them. They'll start running the clock. We've seen Coach Walker and them do this very, very effectively to use a proper amount of time, you know, on the clock.
Indians hand off to Marcus Dickson. Dickson going nowhere. Clock is down to 2:31 now, 2:29 and counting. The Indians with second down and 10.
Don't know what the timeout situation is as far as that is concerned.
Stevens County handing off once again to Marcus Dickson. Dickson trying to squirt forward for a yard. They may spot him at a yard gain, but not a lot on that play. Clock continuing to tick. Timeout has now been called by Thomasville. Thomasville takes a timeout with 1:58 left in the game. 118 seconds.
118 seconds. Well said.
It all lies in the balance here. The state championship, the bragging rights for the entire state for the year. 7-6, the lead held by the Indians right now. A scant lead. But that's all it takes in a game, is a 1-point lead.
And certainly it hangs in balance right now with a slight tilt, you know, so is Stevens County, but anything, you know, can happen. Who is it that said it's not over till it's over?
Yogi certainly had the Stevens County Dalton game in mind when he said that, I believe. All right, the officials getting ready to put the ball back in play after the timeout. Kelly Steele going out.
You know, this is tremendous for football for this area also, Charles. I believe the last time a state championship was played in this area was 1981 when Commerce played for the state championship, you know, down against Greene County in Commerce. Oh, this is tremendous, you know, for football in this area and high school athletics, period, and high school sports. But here in the northeast Georgia area, so it's been 30 years since one was played here in Toccoa, of course, but in the northeast Georgia area since 1981. So a lot is to be said. Of course, that's just the way the draw fell for the state championship to be held this year. But tremendous boost, you know, for it to be right here in northeast Georgia this year.
We're very fortunate to be a part of this state championship game.
Delighted.
Third down, 9 yards to go for a first down. They put Eldorado Cochran in motion. Kelly Steele looking, being chased, fires. Is it intercepted? Yes, intercepted by Thomasville. So a turnover that hasn't taken place all night for the Indians has now taken place. Thomasville intercepting at the Indian 42-yard line. 1:50 now left on the clock.
Thomasville has a reprieve now with 1:50, and the defense once again will be called on.
Stevens County's defense has been equal to the task all year. Let's see if they can do it this time. Of course, Thomasville's offense has been equal to the task all year. Both teams coming in 14-0.
Watch Bostic go to work. There he is.
Bostic being tackled behind the line.
Mark Bowen, big play.
Clock continuing to tick, 1:40 and counting.
The clock is what's important, you know, to them.
Bostic back again. Mark Bowen looking for him. Bostic gets his receiver. Number 15, Anthony Hayes, pulls it down at the 26-yard line. Thomasville on the move. 1st and 10 at the 26. Clock at 1:23 as Hayes went out of bounds.
Well, also, we don't know about the field goal kicker, you know, for Thomasville, because a field goal could also be, you know, very, very big here.
Bostic's looking. He's trying to get out of the pocket. Gets about a yard. Clock's running, 1:15. Thomasville trying to regroup, get their men on the line. Bostic directing his men. He throws the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. Clock stop, 1:05. Wise move, I would have to say, on Mr. Bostic's part.
Last year, Thomasville ran through very successfully to Mike Jones, their much talented safety that they have. Last year he was a wide receiver. This year he's played wide receiver some, and noticed him out there then. So about 6'4", remember he has great leaping ability, you know, also. So it could be very important, you know, remember that he's been in pass key and clutch pass catching situations, you know, before.
Okay, clock's at 1:05. It is still the ally of the Indians at this point. They have a 1-point lead, but Thomasville is knocking on the door.
Jones is in motion.
Jones is back. He's looking. He fires. It's complete. It's caught down at the 15-yard line. Complete at the 15. Does he stay in bounds? Doesn't matter. The clock has stopped to move the chains. Thomasville lining up in a hurry, getting that hurry-up offense to going. 59 seconds on the clock. Thomasville at the 15. Indians stopping him after a gain of about 4 yards. 33 was the ball carrier. James Williams, the fullback. Clock is at 42 seconds, counting. Thomasville lining up. Throwing it out of bounds once again to stop the clock with 35 seconds left. Boy, this thing's coming down to the wire, Coach. Thomasville sitting on the 15-yard line. It's 3rd down. Actually, they're on about the 11-yard line. 3rd down About 7 to go. Clock is at 35 seconds. You've got to get it in the end zone. Do you go for the first down? Do you get it in the end zone? Do you try to stop the clock again? Many, many questions on the mind of the Thomasville team right now.
And certainly, I think, the timeout situations are just about expired as far as that's concerned. So I think they got to take a shot, but it is third down, and they got to have a first down, before they can score. So Bostic will go to work, no doubt about it.
Touchdown for Thomasville. With 30 seconds left, the Thomasville Bulldogs have scored.
Excellent pass, and just came back to the right-hand side and then raised up and threw it back over to the other side to number 2. Excellent catch. Well thrown ball. Good time there to throw the football was one of the things. Excellent job by his offensive lineman to give him time to throw.
Stevens County has a player down in the end zone that they're looking at right now. "30 seconds left. Thomasville has scored. The score now is 12-7. Thomasville on top of the Indians. Coaches going out to talk to their respective teams during this official timeout. We can't spot the player who is
Looked like
injured.
It might have been Eric Allen over there who it might have been.
Eric Allen, number 3 for the Indians. Coach Tatham out looking at him. Dr. Payton going out to check on him. We're going to take a break during this injury timeout. We'll be back in just a moment with the concluding seconds of this game. You're watching the state championship game on the playoff flagship station, TV 32. As they escort Eric Allen off the field, Thomasville lines up for the point after attempt. Looks as though Thomasville has their running team in there, so very possibly they'll go for 2 in this situation. Score is 12-7 now for Thomasville. Thomasville would certainly like to make this a 14-7 game at this point. That way, if something did happen on the ensuing kickoff, it would force Stevens County to do something there to go for a win. However, as has been pointed out previously, a state championship game can end in a tie. It can be a co-championship type thing for the state. And Bostic keeps but does not get over for the 2-point conversion, so the Indians have held at that point. It's Thomasville 12, Stevens County 7. Thomasville now will kick off to the Indians. Thomasville's kicker, Corey Clark, has been kicking fairly long tonight throughout the game. He's been kicking to Eldorado Cochran both the times that he has kicked. Let's see if he will do that again.
Well, they got such great quickness and good specialty teams. They've done a good job, covering kickoffs, and it could be that they could elect, to squib kick it.
Which it looks like for the placement of the ball, that's exactly what they'll do. Corey Clark has the ball placed down on its side. "30 seconds left on the clock. Stevens County going to fall on the ball at the 41-yard line. So the Indians have an opportunity to put it in play there. The clock is down to 27 seconds. Looks like they'll spot that thing back at the 39. All right, Indians now trying to come up with something. They're going to send a bunch of wide receivers out. They may be wild receivers at that. Looking to duplicate that Hail Mary pass they did against Villarica last year. All right, Kelly Steele at quarterback, Eldorado Cochran in motion. Steele fires to Cochran. Pass is incomplete. Clock is still running. Clock stopped now at 22 seconds.
In fact, they're trying to get it in the hands of Eldorado Cochran to get him on the outside and let him work then. Might have been a double pass then thrown out to him, but he was in motion and might have been just trying to get it to him out there in the flats, you know, and let him go to work. Still, it was a ball that was thrown backwards, so it would not only go as incomplete, but as a lateral and be a loss of yardage also.
Once again, they fire to the other side. Cochran has it this time. He's got a little running room. Eldorado is up across the 40. Cochran is on the run. Eldorado brought down at the 45-yard line. Clock is at 12 seconds. They'll stop it to move the chains. Stevens County at the Thomasville 44-yard line, 45-yard line. Indians trying valiantly to get something out of this to put another touchdown on the board. 12 seconds is not long to work.
With 45 seconds to go, with 12 seconds to go and 45 yards to go, I'm sure they would like to have 45 seconds to go.
Thomasville did a lot in 30 seconds.
They certainly did. But you're probably going to have to take a shot. I say it probably is going to take too long to develop, you know, throwing one into the end zone here because it's too far, you know, for the play to take place. They're probably going to have to try to hit it quick and let somebody scoot in the end zone, hope to get open like they did, you know, Eldorado. That almost looked like it was going to be a double pass over there on the other side then.
All right, after this timeout, the Indians will have 45 yards to cover in 12 seconds. Let's see if they can do it. Thomasville's goal is to stop them. Cochran going in motion once again. Steele looking to this side of the field. He's got Randall Sherman going. It's intercepted, however. Intercepted down on the other end of the field. The clock runs down to 2 seconds. Thomasville is intercepted, thereby securing themselves a win in this state championship game. Indian defense comes out on the field now as the Thomasville offense comes out. Stands from both schools beginning to empty as they want to congratulate their teams, the North Georgia champs and the South Georgia champs, meeting here in Stevens County at Toccoa tonight for this great, well-played championship game. The clock and the game ends there. The state championship, Thomasville Bulldogs.
And congratulations to them. Excellent job of coming back the second half. Excellent job by the Thomasville Bulldogs. Congratulations to the AAA state champ, Thomasville Bulldogs. Very well played by Stevens County. No two finer teams could have met in this championship till tonight than these two teams, Stevens County from Toccoa and Thomasville from Thomasville, Georgia.
We'll be back in just a moment with some final comments and the closing thoughts on tonight's state championship game on the TV playoff flagship station, TV 32. There you see the fans and the teams from both schools as they're down on the field congratulating each other. A well-played game, minimum of penalties tonight. Matter of fact, only one penalty I think that I can remember throughout the game. Excellent job by both teams. Just a tremendously played ball game. Stevens County coming up on the short end with 30 seconds left to go. Thomasville coming up with the big play there. They did what it took. And Thomasville going away with the state championship tonight. Stevens County can hold their heads high as the North Georgia champions, and from an unprecedented 14-0 or 14-1 now year that Stephens County has had, 15-0 is the record of Thomasville. Just a tremendous game, Coach.
Well, certainly it was, and what an honor just to be here first of all, and have an opportunity to be in a state championship game. We talked about there's 86 AAA teams, in the state, and there was 84 more that would have liked to have had the privilege, to have lost this ball game tonight. Certainly, utmost respect goes to both of these high schools, both of these communities, for the tremendous support that they obviously have had to have attained, a 15-0 status for one and a 14-1 status, for the other. And no finer display of football can you find anywhere in America, I don't think, than what you saw, right here tonight for the state AAA championship of Georgia.
Final score, 12-7, Thomasville Bulldogs over the Stephens County Indians from a cold December night in Toccoa, Georgia. We bid you farewell on this station in this state championship game. I'm Charles Head for Coach Mac Poss and for all of our folks at TV 32, our executive producer Roy Gaines, the producer Connie Gaines, our director Stuart Gaines, the technical director Kim Gaines, our sideline cameraman John Kerr, and the upstairs cameraman Mark Watson. We want to bid you farewell from Stephens County High School, the Indian Reservation in Toccoa. Tonight's game was brought to you on the state championship game, was on the playoff flagship station TV 32.